Good day and welcome to our explanation and demonstration of how to set up a full lab inside the Microsoft Azure cloud. We're going to create an account, we're going to create a Windows 2019 server, upgrade it to a domain controller, we're going to set up a Windows 10 PC, we're going to set up Bastion, we're going to tighten up the firewall, we're going to go over a whole bunch of little bits that you need to know as well. This is segment 5 of 6. And I'm going to go back to home, go to virtual machines, and I'm going to click add in the top left hand corner. And we're going to add a Windows 10 machine. So let's go to stay on a free trial. We'll select the test resource group that we created earlier. This one we're going to call test PC1. I want it to be, you can put them in different places, but it's a bit nutty. You should put them all in the same place if you can, which in my case is US West 2. Put them all in the same physical location. I'm not worried about redundancy yet. And I'm going to choose Windows 10 Pro 1809. So that's September of 2018. It's ridiculously old. Microsoft's constantly being bothered about this. Fortunately, you can upgrade, and that's exactly what we'll do. So let's get 1809 installed and go from there. Now, Spot instance, again, we can go through that dance, but as we've said before, the Spot stuff just isn't available right now during COVID time. So I'm going to go to change size to keep the price down. And I'm going to sort here by the cost per month. And I'm going to select anything with 2 CPUs, like that one right there. And so that is 4 gig of RAM, with the possibility of 4 disks with 2 CPUs. Certainly enough for Windows 10. Click Start, select I should say, and then I will choose a username, which I'm going to call User1. Clever name, huh? Set a password. It's got to hit the minimum requirements. So I suggest you do the uppercase, lowercase, and a number, the usual dance. Do I want to do inbound ports and stuff? No, this time I don't. This time I don't want any public ports at all. It just saves me removing it from the firewall. And yes, I have a license, and I'm going to click confirm. Now, I could click review and create because I'm pretty much done, but I want this to be a generation 2 VM. So all of this is fine. Well, you know what? Let's go through it. So I'll go to disks next. And instead of selecting a high-speed disk, I'm going to select a cheap disk. That's the reason you do this, by the way, is to keep costs down. Management, nothing I'm worried about here other than auto shutdown. Yes, I would like to shut it down. So if I forget to power it off, I don't want to be paying for it overnight just to be goofing around. So at 7 p.m., I want it to be powered off. And I can send an email to me. That's wonderful. Under advanced, really, this is the thing I really need to change. Well, I really want to change, which is generation 2 VM. You don't have to. It's just fine if you don't want to. Tags I don't care about. Review and create. It's going to do a quick analysis. And what did it find that was wrong? It found I had done something stupid. So there's a dot on basics. So let's go back to basics and see what I did wrong here. It doesn't like the username. Okay, so let's go with test user1. See if that works. Review and create. Running validation at passed. Click create. And we'll have a Windows 10 machine. So then all I have to do is bring it up, patch it, connect it to the domain, and I have a lab. I have a domain controller. This is a great way to get started. It's a great way to build yourself a lab and goof with it. And no, you're not going to blow anything up on your real network. And just like when we built the domain controller, you can see it's going through all of these options. I can select operation settings again, and I can see what's going on. Okay, so it's done. Hee-haw. So I can click go to resource, and all it's going to do is, let's just click it. It's going to take me over there. But I'll explain again how you can get to it. I just go to home, go to virtual machines, and there's my test PC1. And it's bingo, right back where we are. Now, if I click connect, and now if I try connect via RDP, download RDP file, it's not going to work because I didn't enable external access for this. I only left it to work with Bastion. Let's click OK. Yeah, so I'm going to stop this because it's just going to time out. It isn't going to work. So I have to go to Bastion. I'll type in test user 1, I think is what I use. Test user 1, not test user. Enter my password. And up it comes. Now, this is almost certainly going to take us to the mini setup wizard that you get if you had a new store if you had a new computer from the store. Let's see what it actually does. And there we go. So this is asking for all of the usual things that you'd expect. These are things that are required for GDPR as well. So let's just click through here, location services, advertising, things like that. Yet again, the very first thing I'm going to do is install Credge because I just don't want to use Internet Explorer. Sure, other computers can find this on the network. And let's go to Credge. Let's get the patches going. So I'll click on the Start button, click there's Settings, and then go to Updates. There it is. And check for updates. Now let's take a look at Task Manager just for fun. Settings, more details I should say. Go to Performance. And electrical processors. There we go. We've got 2 CPUs. And we're on our way. So let's click close it. Let's get rid of the Task Manager as it's just adding overhead. It's not necessary. We don't need to have... there we go. The browser's already closed. And you can see here it's got updates going. Now, the other thing I want to do is I want to join this to the domain. So I'm going to right-click. I'm going to click Home here. I'm going to click System. Click System Info from About. There it is. Then I want to join it to the domain, so I'll go to, well, really any of these is fine, but I'll go to Remote to start with. And I'll click the first, it just brings up the old school settings. There we go. We'll go to computer name here. And I will join it to the domain. Credge, sign in, continue without signing in, and we'll just close it to get rid of it. There we go. So in here, I'll type in corp.electriccaddy.com, and it should prompt me for credentials, for domain credentials, and it does. Isn't that nice? Test admin. Isn't that nice? So now that's joined to the domain. Click OK, click Close. I'll restart later. I'm going to close this window. Let's go back to Home. Go back to Update and see what the patches are. Oh, still working away. Okay, so let's go back to the domain controller while we're waiting for these patches to finish. And let's see in computers if there's something here. Oh, I don't see anything. Well, what if I press F5? There we go. If I press F5 to refresh, there it is. So if I get out of here and I go back to Active Directory, there it is. There's my computer. So let's create a user. So just like usual, new user. And there's a lot of ways to do this, but here it is. Let's use test user 1. And I'll cleverly call their login test user 1, not case sensitive, by the way. And next, and set a password for them that meets the domain minimums. And actually, I don't want the user to change the password just because it's a pain. There we go. And that is just a standard user. It doesn't belong to anything, just domain users. Okay, let's take a look at if there are updates for this, because there almost certainly are for the domain controller. Let's do check for updates. So we'll kill 2 birds with 1 stone here. There we go. Cumulative update. Yep, there we go. And a .NET update, of course. So we'll let those run. And we'll let this finish off, and I'm going to speed this up so you don't have to sit and wait. Then we'll reboot. Okay, if it restart on the PC, let's see where it is. So I'll click PC. Now there's no real way to tell, right? Wrong, remember? Boot diagnostics. I can click in here. I can get a screenshot of what's there. So look, it's doing the updates. So getting Windows ready. And refresh. Now, as I said before, this refresh does a pretty poor job of actually getting a new snip, but at least it's something. So it'll be a minute or two to reboot. Let's take a quick look at the domain controller. 74%, it's going to be a bit yet, so. And it's good, you certainly don't want to be rebooting both of these at the same time, because that machine, that PC, is trying to join the domain. If the domain's down, well, that's not particularly useful. So I'll go back to Overview and Connect. By the way, I could just go to Connect on the side here, but I'll just go this way because I'm used to doing it that way. And I'm going to sign in with that test user account. that you'll recall we created in Active Directory. So let's take a look at that. Yeah, test user 1, not case sensitive. Usernames are never case sensitive in Windows. So let's go back here and try to sign in with test user 1. Test user 1. Passwords are always case sensitive. I'm not sure if I typed that right. Yep, I did. So this is going to have to build a new profile. This will take a second. But this is signing into the domain, which is exciting stuff. There we go. So let's go to the domain and see what we can see. Test DC1 sysvol. There it is. That's your Active Directory, ladies and gentlemen. Now, let's upgrade this because I'm all but certain when I click settings here and I go to updates again, it's going to have the Windows, there it is, download and install. So I'll download and install 1909. We'll close that because it's not required. And let's take a look at the domain controller, see if it's ready. Oh, yes, it is. Yes, that's great. So now I'll just recycle that or cycle that. And yet again, I can go back to the portal.azure.com and I can click on the DC and I can go to see what's going on. I can go down to boot diagnostics and let's just take a little look. And I'm going to click refresh because that is a while ago. No, it's not. That's just a few minutes ago because it's UTC. So we got to wait. In other words, this is still on the lock screen. So domain controllers aren't exactly known for being fast on the reboots. This is going to take a few minutes, but that's okay because so is this PC install. This Windows 10 upgrade is going to take a minute as well. All right, so I'm going to stop this, and again, I'll restart it in probably 5 or 10 minutes when those patches are done. So that Windows 10 patch took so long that the server, the domain controller, stopped. So let's go to start it back up, deallocated. Deallocated means not only is the machine stopped, but you're not paying for it anymore. So that's what deallocated is. Let's fire this thing up and see what happens. We could check up here for the status. And it's starting, it says, and let's go take a look at the boot diagnostics. Refresh here, see what that comes up with. And nothing a second, so, which is not tremendously unusual. It does seem to take a while for these images to be updated. Well, they're just refreshed to a nice black screen. Let's go up and take a look at to see what's going on. Let's look at the activity log. So 2 minutes ago, click on that, and we're just waiting for the machine to start. Okay, well, I knew that already. I'll bring you back when the machine is up. So while we're waiting for that, let's flip over to test user 1. There, the machine just came back up. Well, let's rephrase that. The machine was up, the PC was up, but what's down was the domain controller, and that includes DNS. So what I was going to do was right-click on this and go to network and see what's going on, and I was expecting for it to not have DNS. I'm very sure that is what the case was, but anyway, it's now up. So that means that the domain controller is probably up, and DNS is certainly up. So let's go see if we can get into it. Let's refresh this first, see if it says anything. It does. It's now got succeeded, so that's happy. So let's go back to overview and connect. We'll connect with Bastion. And there it is. The domain controller is up. I noticed a bang down here a moment ago. That seems to have cleared up. So its own DNS. I expect all will be well. There it is.